Okay. Good evening, televiewers, and thanks for joining us on this another edition of your program, Games of Thrones, on Info Television here in Yaoundé. Of course, today we'll be talking about two crucial topics that's making a wave in Cameroon, not leaving out what is making the information, of course, the presidential elections, as Cameroonians are, of course, waiting the results of the October polls. The question that we'll be asking our panelists, of course, who are presently here, four of them, is the presidential election. Is it a platform for peace or provocation? Aside that, we'll be proceeding with our next topic on this very day, which, of course, concerns employment in Cameroon. And it is no news that we have the government, which, of course, is the highest employer in the country. But the question that lies now, is it the only source or the sole source of employment in Cameroon? These, of course, are the topics that we'll be treating in the course of Game of Thrones this evening. Stay glued, because when we're back, we'll introduce the panelists and we'll go directly to what they have as menu for you this day. This is, of course, Info TV here in Yaoundé, and it's your favorite program, Game of Thrones. Of course, I will dive directly by introducing our panelists. These are very day. Of course, we have doctors here on set, those who have political insight of what is transpiring throughout the triangle. Of course, on my left, we have Dr. Mo Waters. Good evening, Doctor.
Thank you, my brother, and God bless you. I'm very grateful and I'm thankful to God for this opportunity to have been a part of a program of this magnitude and at this time when everybody is escaping and asking themselves what become of Cameroon tomorrow after the petitions will be examined by the Constitutional Council and probably in the days ahead a proclamation of results. But one thing is clear, like my son Mualtas Gino will sing it. Le jeu de résultats de la vérité. Meaning on election day results, the tears will come out from those who thought you can play with the exam time. But when there's the time to read results, headmaster doesn't look at your father's face to prepare results. Elections have come, they have gone. We are approaching another phase. Proclamation of results. I'm calm and peaceful, and my prayer to whoever is outside there, let Cameroon win.
Of course, that's Dr. Mo Waters, a jurist, and of course somebody that's blessed with enough insight concerning the October presidential polls. Of course, I will continue in this same lane. We have Barrister Evaristus Mofo. Good evening, Barrister.
Good evening, panelists. Good evening, televiewers. What we are going to say this evening is very topical. Elections have come. We shall know the results. But what is very important is that Cameroon must remain intact, whoever wins. Elections have come, they will go, but Cameroon will stay put.
Elections have come, elections have come, it will go, and Cameroon, of course, will still stay intact. And that's what is coming from Barrister Eliga Mine, Barrister Evaristus Mofo. Of course, on my right, we have an economist, somebody who is well vested with what we call entrepreneurship, what we call whatever you need in the development of Cameroon. Of course, we have with us Dr. Tumenta. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening. I'm very happy to be here, and I want to salute the co-panelist, Barrister, Doctor. I'm very happy with my dear brother, Blessed. I think post-elections is a very important stage for the socio-economic development of our country. Investors are waiting, entrepreneurs are waiting, and the civil societies are waiting, and it's very important for us to discuss on this very important topic. Peace and development goes together, And I hope that by exchanging with the co-panelists, we'll be able to enlighten our brothers and sisters back at home on what we are supposed to do to be able to foster peace and development, to create that job that is needed.
Foster peace and development, and to create that job that is, of course, needed. Coming from Dr. Tumenta, an economist. Of course, we have on this set somebody you, of course, you're familiar with his face. He's a communicator from the PCRN political party in Cameroon, and he's no other person than Blaise Kwajika. Good evening, Blaise Kwajika, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Philip. Good evening to my co-panelists. It's always a pleasure to share a rich panel like what we just have today with level-headed panelists. You know, it's always a pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome to the program. Of course, I will dive directly to what we have for you as menu for today. The presidential election, a platform for peace or provocation. Recently, we've seen chaos that has been manifested by some individuals who call themselves as sympathizers from an opposition political party. Their decisions or their actions have been highly condemned by public opinion and even Cameroonian authorities, saying that they are violating the Republican policies or values. Today, I'll commence with you, Barrister Mofo Evaristus. The presidential election is already present. We are already away from the first phase. We are already from the second phase. And right now we are pending the last stage, which of course is the pronouncement of the results of these elections. Now, do you think these very platform, taking into consideration that so many people are going out there manifesting themselves, giving their own ideologies, do you think the election was, of course, a platform for peace or provocation?
I think, given the importance that is attached to elections, elections ought to be
A platform of peace.
a platform for peace.
That's right.
For elections to be a platform for peace, there are certain factors that must come into play. And what are these factors? There must be education. What are elections? It's a process whereby people choose their leaders.
What kind of education are you talking about?
Political education.
Political education, of course. So, if people don't even have an idea of what elections are, what do you expect of them? That is why I talk about education.
Okay.
Registration, transparency, non-disfranchisement, dialogue. People must not be intimidated. People must be able to know where they are going to. And elections must be organized. And when I talk about elections, I'm talking about genuine elections. They must be organized periodically. Meaning that in 2030, even 35, we should know the calendar. We should know when presidential elections will be carried out. Elections should not be used as a trap to hold down some candidates. Elections must be a means whereby people express their will, and the will of the people must be respected. Failing this, elections may become a nightmare if the factors that I just presented are violated. People are disfranchised, there is intimidation, there is no transparency, the voters' registration is not made public. That may push people to have a rethink. And when people are oppressed, when there is tyranny, people are pushed to the wall and they may have recourse to violence. And if there is violence, which we don't wish, it will not be those who have reacted. For Newton's third law of motion says, for for any action there is an opposite reaction.
But recently, of course, we've seen the uprising, we've seen some of the attitude manifested by Cameroonians in the far north region. We're talking about the Grand North, of course, and recently we've seen some individuals, we're talking about the youths, going out there trying to express their own opinion in a violent manner. Do you think this has been motivated by some individuals?
I can't say for sure that has been motivated by some individuals.
No, but motivated. Thank you.
We will be coming to you more.
They're not mad people. Thank you, mate. So go ahead.
I can't say they have been motivated or that they have been sent by some individuals. Our laws are very clear. From 20, you have the right to vote. And if you vote
from 18,
18, 20, the
electoral age is 18,
20.
From 18 upward, why, of course, of becoming a measure in Cameroon is as from 21.
Yes. And if you exercise your will and you see that will, that the people have spoken, and that will has been robbed, you become frustrated. And mark you, protesting.
Are they frustrated now because their will has been violated?
I say it could. It could. If the will is violated, it could lead to violence. And mark you, protesting is enshrined in our law, in the Constitution. Gives us the right to strike, the right to protest peacefully. And if you are protesting peacefully and you are met with untold resistance, you have to fight back. It is the aggressor who ought to be blamed.
Okay.
Not you fighting back.
Thank you, Barrister Mofo, for this edification. Of course, I'll come back to you, Dr. Mo Walters. Given the fact that some Cameroonians are going out and disturbing the peace of course, or violating some of the Republican values, we've seen these are very 21st of October 2025, here in Yaoundé, some of the youths were being caught or apprehended, creating an atmosphere of violence in the Chinga neighborhood.
Exactly.
Do you think we are waiting, of course, for the results of the presidential election? Is it appropriate for young people to go out there and manifest their grievances through violent attack?
Thank you very much for that opportunity. I talked about it yesterday on radio. I must repeat it now. Any young man, whether from personal conviction, political ideology, influence, political marketing and buying, that you find yourself being influenced on the street to go and protest for a politician or an individual who won an election and felt the verdict of the ballot box was not comfortable enough, my brother, that might be your last time of going out, God forbid, because the military are well prepared to accommodate you. In a state of law like Cameroon, who have suffered in 2018, backing into 1992, where Cameroonians believe that when you are not comfortable with the results of what is being pronounced, you go on street.
But the results are not yet proclaimed.
Results are not proclaimed. That's where I'm coming heading to tell you that those who think that their militants can take the law into their hands should be arrested and grounded by the Moulinex of Minister Paul Atangaji. How can you become conscious of the results when it's not proclaimed? You are a political witch. Who do you know with elections? I voted myself. I'm still waiting for the results. I don't know whether my candidate will win or lose. But if I see my brother already on the street protesting that I say, or he say his candidate will win, it's witchcraft. And I think it's no longer democracy. And that's where we need to bring into action other forces, like the Ministry of Territorial Administration, to play their role. We need a referee who is supposed to proclaim results of elections. We know presidential election in Cameroon, particularly in 2025, is a summary of political frustration from Cameroonians who thought that they ought to have become head of state in 2018. Time is not on their side. Having been knocked down by the people, they thought either now or never. After that, they said no. Even the Constitutional Council have thrown us out. We have people we can pump our ideology into their mentality, like the Minister Chiroma were saying, because the Cameroon that I know where belong, peace, work, fatherland, cannot permit a politician to resign from the CPD regime like a minister 3 months after he dived into politics and become a star. No! It made a vacancy. Cameroonians have been searching for a revolutionalist, and Chiroma found himself to be that revolutionalist. To say, yes, whether you are Ambazonia, I'm with you. Whether you want to kill Paul Biya, I'm with you. If Fundi fail you, I'm with you. If Capto fail you, I can take over power. And this has pushed people now to deny or I'm following. But unfortunately, in a state of law, he was dealing with sympathizers, well-wishers, and not electors. Today, when election results are out, he finds himself embarrassed and is able to start announcing results. As I talk to you now, if Chiroma become president of Cameroon, volunteer to become a Chadian, I cannot stay because he's a terrorist. A man cannot feed you. You cannot erase a man that raised you. Who is Chiroma without Paul Biya? Who was Chiroma without Ailo? How did he become a minister in Cameroon in 2025? You tell us he became president 3 months after annulling all others. You think they were fools? You don't trample on the graves of people to become a leader. Your grave is waiting for you.
You speak so very well, Dr. More Waters. Of course, that's your opinion. And Cameroonians who are watching, wherever they are across the globe.
I'm sorry, I never answered your question.
Of course,
1 minute.
Of course, I'll be coming back. I'll be coming back to you because we have other two panelists, which of course do have something to say in the course of this program. I'll come back to you, Dr. Tumenta. You are an economist, and of course, when you see the atmosphere today in Cameroon, you see the peace that has been preached over the years is being disturbed by some individuals claiming the fact that their leader has been declared the winner of the presidential election, given the fact that all of us, you and I, Cameroonians, of course, and even international organizations know that the results of the presidential elections are still pending. Now, tell us, do you think these manifestations of political leaders at this particular moment, prior to the proclamation of the result, do you think their actions are Republican values? Do they portray the Republican values?
Well, I would like, as an economic ethicist, I would like to look at this topic from a different angle. First of all, are elections out for peace or provocation? I believe that elections are very important as a signal to create an environment where the government gets into a social contract with its citizens, where the government itself gets a feedback of its policies, where citizens themselves decide on which policies and programs do they want to be taken to live within. Secondly, enlightened citizens look at a framework that will help them to be able to carry out their investment in the short and long run.
That's right.
So that's the whole context of elections, especially from the economics part. It's not just a moral aspect, but it's also an economics aspect. If you pushed towards violence, for me, election violence is an economic tax. Meaning that a taxation on economic taxation, because why? Because if we have election violence, most investors will try to withhold their resources to invest. The jobs that we'll be talking about.
But Dr. Tumenta, you come to realize that some of the pleas or some of the grudges that the opposition parties are having today is due to the fact that, according to them, they won the polls.
So you have to understand this.
Is it appropriate for you to declare yourself as victor? Meanwhile, we are pending the results.
So you never do as an economist. We never say yes or no.
So look at this thing. We have to understand it's a game. Politics is also a game. Of course, our program is a game of thrones. You have to understand they have to put pressure. It's also a strategy. I need to put pressure to defend my interests. And also send a signal. If they perceive that the processes will not be fair, they would like send some signals, try to push all around and make sure that whatever they are expecting should be delivered.
But proclaiming the results by yourself before the actual date, don't you think at this moment some of these individuals are violating the law of Cameroon?
Exactly. Let me explain to you. I think we should
all of us
we should separate two things. Yes. They are sure and they are aware that the only person that is supposed to proclaim the result is the Constitutional Council. They are aware of that.
Very right.
So all other information that they are giving is not a proclamation of results. They are just sending out their feeling, giving their feedback from their perspective. That is why all Cameroonians are waiting on the D-Day. I heard the Constitutional Council said that on Thursday they are going to start reading the result. So I think that we should, the Cameroonians should focus on getting the results that is supposed to come out from the Constitutional Council and not declared by individuals. Even when individuals get up and say, hey, look, I'm sure I won. It's just like Samuel Eto'o when he was going to Qatar, he said that we are going to win the World Cup. Because you do not go for an election or for to go and lose.
But you're talking about Samuel Eto'o's predictions, but his predictions were not accompanied by violent attacks.
No, but excuse me, that's very important. So there are two things here. All of us condemns violence, attacks, manifestations that are not authorized, and creating an atmosphere of fear. All of these things are condemned. But again, we should separate reality, perception, and expectation. There are expectations, there are reality, and there are perceptions. So where we are now, you and I, most Cameroonians are just waiting on the D-Day. Whatever people say, Cameroonians are matured enough to take the right decision. They make their decisions, and this decision will be proclaimed by the Constitutional Council, and for that reason, most of us economists are saying, let's stay calm, let's stay very, very peaceful, and expect that the result comes. But please, this topic, the way we are looking at it, we hope that our institutions that are around will provide the trust, because trust and the signals of trust that is needed, so that citizens themselves, whatever result that comes out, they can swallow it. But I think that no one, according to our constitution as well as the exterior code, no one is supposed to unilaterally proclaim the result and claim if that's the result. The only person that is supposed to do that is the Constitutional Council. But it doesn't refuse someone from saying, I hope, and I hope that my candidate will win. Of course,
exactly. Dr. Tumena, of course, that's your opinion, and I'll give.
It's that is correct.
Of course, Dr. Bowaters will be coming back to you. Let's get the opinion from the PCR and communicator. Of course, is no other person than Bless Kwajika. Bless Kwajika, you, of course, from the PCRN, and your party, of course, withdrawn some of its petitions before the Constitutional Council, and today that of course is a clear signal that your party doesn't want a problem. Now, when you look at the atmosphere presently in Cameroon, do you think the parties that are claiming that they are already victorious before the pronouncement of results today, do you think is it something worthy of appreciation?
Yeah, Mr. Philip, I would just like to chip one or two things, because you know, the process is still on, and for the moment we can't say, we can't pronounce, we can't say anything. We can just comment, because actually I can just comment as an individual like Bless.
No, you are here, of course.
You're talking like his president. His party president talk only like this.
You're representing.
His party start only like this.
You're
a mistake. I'm telling you the truth.
Of course, Cabral Libi is your very good friend. You're representing the PCRN party here. And of course, it is very obvious that you do have a clue that peace is of great importance when it comes to the electoral process, not only in Cameroon, but everywhere around the globe. Now, tell us, do you actually buy the idea that the proclamation of a result before the elections or before the institutions that has been mandated to do so, is it appropriate?
Mr. Philip, you know, we are fond of commenting on consequences rather than getting to the causes. What really pushes people to manifest whenever they are, you know, we will condemn, yeah, nobody wants anything to happen in Cameroon. Or we want to see a peaceful nation.
Do you appreciate the manifestations of Cameroonians, some of the Cameroonians in the various cities?
You need to understand that most of them are just expressing their frustrations. Their frustrations. Do you know
to burn places and kill teachers, bless it through normal?
You know what it means to be under a regime for the past 43 years? When you are a youth of a country like this, it means you don't have any hope.
Is that what your party has been preaching?
Permit me, Mr. I've listened to Dr. Mo, you know, and it's no more strange because, you know, we have leaders in this country, that arrogance, they don't feel the pains of the people. Each and everyone can just say, we can say everything that we can say. You need to understand the pains, especially those manifesting their youth. Youth in particular, I still underline that word youth. Okay. Because when you talk of youth, I identify myself. I can feel their pains.
That's right.
Because when you belong in a nation, you don't know where social justice doesn't exist, when meritocracy doesn't exist, where nepotism and other ills that you can imagine in a nation. And people are really hungry to see new leadership, to see a new Cameroon. And when the people, the sovereign people for that matter, mobilize themselves and exercise, and people decide not to read the results or read the votes that were being made by the people, it pushes people to get at the extreme side of the
Why is it that your own party didn't proclaim that Kabralibi has become the winner of the just ended presidential election?
PCRN is a Republican party. That's right. We are Republican, but that doesn't mean that people should use that docile nature.
Are you in support of Chiruma's outings?
Permit me to at least to articulate 2 or 3 words. We are a Republican party. We respect the laws of the institutions. Okay. That doesn't give that room for people to abuse that docile nature of, or maybe the respect when people decide to respect the institutions. Okay. Because that's what we have noticed, and that's what has pushed most of us to engage in politics, because we want to change and bring something new.
That's right, that's right. Important.
But unfortunately, we still have a long way to go. With my experience that I have, because it's the second presidential election we are going through, 2018 and this 2025.
But in 2018, you guys didn't proclaim or made such advances. Right. Things were very okay. And when you look at the previous 2018 presidential elections, we have come to discover that the person that was agitating, claiming, making the same declarations, saying that he won the election today, we are seeing the consequences of his declarations. He's nowhere to be found. Do you think Issa Chiruma will suffer this same fate?
He will.
That's what I'm saying, that when the will of the people has been expressed in the ballot board and they don't find it. Because we have so many cases where our militants were being brutalized. Sorry if I will use those harsh words, but that's the reality, as Dr. Riley said. There's the reality, perception, and expectations. What people expect from political party, the perception of each actor or each Cameroonians. And now there is a reality in Cameroon politics, which is different. People, is true. We will be here singing change. We want new leadership. But when you get to the field, the reality is there, Doctor.
So let me just to continue. Let continuity.
Bless
has confirmed it.
Bless.
Not any time personal Cameroon state. He has said it. Continuity.
We really need. That's your word, Doctor. I didn't. You can borrow me other things, but not word. You can borrow me something else, but not word. Let me learn.
Bless. Of course, we all of us are aware that your party withdrew petitions from the Constitutional Council, and of course, one of these are still allegations. They are allegations, but they are facts. Are they not facts?
No, they are not confirmed. Wait for
tomorrow. President
tomorrow.
So you're telling us, you're telling Cameroonians, you're telling the world today that the information that is coming from the Constitutional Council, or is it fake?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it fake?
Wait for tomorrow. But if I'm here, I just want to.
Your answer is very open. We need a close answer. Is it fake or real?
Permit me to articulate. Don't give me what, or don't give me things to say here. I'm saying this. We have to be conscious of what we are doing. Which legacy do we want to leave for the next generation? Which legacy do we want to leave? Because really, we're here commenting and talking of people destroying this, doing that, but
at least you
there
have
is
forgotten
something
the professionals, economists that should teach us.
Giving
all the time to this program.
Bless Quadrica, I will be coming to you. I'll come to you, but of course, we come to discover that there are certain issues that, of course, are ongoing within the party, and we want you to tell us and also tell Cameroonians what is actually transpiring, because
is not for campaign,
it is very obvious that some of your party leader, which of course is very popular today in Cameroon, is not participating. We don't know, maybe he's doing it behind bars or behind the dark. We don't know, but it's very obvious that we will confirm that in the course of this program. I'll come back to you on more waters. You have a lot to say. The presidential elections, of course, we are really waiting for the results, and we see how those in Garua are coming out. We see how Issa Chiruma, the president of the FSNC, a political party, is making declarations in Cameroon. And all of us know that Cameroonians love peace. For the past years, we've been living in peace and harmony. And today we see people, some individuals are talking about tribalism, something that, of course, was very far-fetched. And this, of course, is coming today. Do you think the presence or the presence, let's say the presence of Issa Chiruma in this presidential election has been a presence of violence and disrespect for the Republican values?
Great, thank you, Mr. Phil. You've been following my write-up. I'm one of those persons that congratulated the presence of Issa Chiruma's candidacy, because it changed the narrative that Cameroonians are totally discouraged from political participation. When he became candidate, people started dreaming. Maybe there's something about Issa Chiruma that they never discovered in any of the other candidates of the opposition party.
He was, first of all,
he's an ally of the CPDM.
He had a coalition or an alliance with the CPDM previously. He has been preaching the gospel of President Paul Biya for the past years. He was once a Minister of Transport, and later on a Minister of Communication and Employment, now vocational training, and he left claiming that the system is not good. Do you think, why is it that during his stay in power, working in collaboration with the President of the Republic, things were not sour? But a few moments or a few months to the presidential elections, things became sour. What happened?
Mr. Fee, if you allow me to learn, I would have told you that Mr. Chiruma is bad news to this country. The worst thing that ever happened in Cameroonian politics is for Elekam to have validated the candidacy of Issa Chiruma Bakari. Don't forget, he's a Cameroonian. There are Cameroonians that have portfolio to speak on behalf of Cameroon. And there are Cameroonians That is a disgrace to their nation.
He also disbursed the 30 million francs.
He disbursed it is not about money making. It's all about conscience. Who is the Chiroma of 2018 who told us there is nothing good that can happen in Cameroon without Paul Biya? That same Chiroma just turned 3 months after, and Cameroonians become so naive to believe that he has been delivered by we demon or we God.
But he asked
to change suddenly.
He went to the southwest region.
To southwest, pardon.
And the people of the southwest and the southwest regions granted pardon.
This very Issa Chiroma, I'm talking to you now on the 21st of October 2025. If K is not taken, mark my words, we will regret why he ever became a candidate. It is easier to wake up somebody from sleep who is actually sleeping than a man who is pretending to be sleeping. A man who is pretending to be sleeping, he thought he does not get up. I learned that from President Goodluck Jonathan. Issa Chiroma Bakari, I told you politically, on the science and the level of political science, he awakened our conscience that social mobilization contracts between people, like David Easton told us, giving in and taking back is a practical reality. He gave us a reason to dream that Cameroonians need change. Fine. But which direction of change became the problem? Why? Because he made a vacuum that nobody occupied.
Why is it that it is just during the presidential elections that he came out with such declarations?
Because of his ideologies and opportunities by birth. Trace Chiroma, 1992, opportunists. 2020, opportunists. 2025, opportunists. Issa Chiroma became a friend to Chris Anu, that I follow to hear what he said every day, to tap the population of Bamenda. Issa Chiroma became a yes to anything that can kill, in so long as you can accept him. And that is why I salute his courage. Many people cannot do that. It is a plus to Cameroonian politics. I am not saying Issa Chiroma is bad news because everything about is bad. If I were to write the history of Cameroonian politics paying relevant to 2025 election, we cannot deny Issa Chiroma. Because he touched what many thought was untouchable to get the people who are inaccessible. Better start depending on the available while waiting for what is reliable. That is Issa Chiroma's principle. But what I'm telling you here is that the Constitution of the Republic of Cameroon does not respect people who talk well. Issa Chiroma is an armed robber by speech. Born to deal. He's a dealer. I take personal responsibility. I accept it. He's a political bandit. If a man follow Issa Chiroma, he can burn this country. Who was Chiroma before becoming Minister of Transport? Before becoming Minister of Communication? Before Minister of Employment and Vocational Training? You brought me here because you saw me talking about employment, about report cards. I give Chiroma a report card. He resigned to become president and do what to who? Why are Chiroma giving the law of this? That we know that the Mouton. Mouton the Chiroma.
No.
They killing people in Papa. Why did
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you very soon. I'll come back to you more very soon. Of course, your declaration is powerful. Of course,
tomorrow
you take responsibility of what you're saying.
I'm ready to leave Cameroon.
I'll come back to you.
I will never.
That's a personal conviction.
Not
Barrister Mofo Evaristus, of course, you come to discover that. You come to discover that. Yeah, I'll come back to you. Yeah, you come to discover that. Of course, these individual who has been the love of some individuals in Cameroon and has gained a lot of notoriety in the country. We are talking about the president of the FSNC, Issa Chiroma Bakari, calls on Paul Biya to accept defeat. Meanwhile, the elections are still pending. Do you think this is something that is worthy of appreciation? Is it acceptable in the state of law?
Before I get to that, I am somebody who is full of respect, very humble. I like humility. And the media is the fourth power. When you invited me, I didn't think twice before coming. But it lies here in my ears on this panel to hear one of the panelists.
Myself, Barrister?
Right on, Barrister.
Chiroma is a terrorist.
Barrister, right on, Barrister. You have the floor. You have the floor.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Just calm down, Papa.
Everybody can shout.
No, they all shout.
Let
No, but things are not going, Barrister. The practitioner of the law, but I know the truth.
Let's respect this very part.
I'm
You
not
have the
just
floor, Barrister.
a practitioner.
I know.
I hold a PhD in international criminal
No, Barrister, I don't need to know
I
that.
have been
Wait,
president of
to
Assembly of the Cameroon Bar.
even the president of Bar Association here about Chiroma will beat him. Chiroma is an
The battalion cannot do that.
Dr. Mowaters,
And you are shaking the table.
Barrister is not correct. You know you are entitled to threaten me, but
Have some respect for
Barrister,
your
you
neighbor.
have the floor.
Have some respect for your neighbor.
Yeah, right on,
The
Barrister.
person you are insulting, calling him a terrorist, has served this country. Issa Chiroma.
I was celebrating him.
We are not here to judge Issa Chiroma. If that was the case, I should have turned this request down.
I will not come here. Don't invite me.
I shouldn't have come. Issa Chiroma should not be insulted to that level. He could win the elections, the presidential elections.
To proclaim himself winner?
Barrister, and for you to say, the Constitutional Council was wrong to have accepted his candidature. Elekam is very wrong. He is a civil engineer, and you are talking of somebody who has served the country.
I don't want to answer you, Barrister, because
I say the media is the fourth power. I respect institutions very well.
Barrister, before you
so
continue,
yes.
let me pass across this information. Of course, our televiewers, you need to send your messages on the number that is on your screen, please. We don't take calls, we just take messages. Right on, Barrister Evaristus Mofo.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Barrister, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. You are my elder brother.
I think there's only one person who is controlling this.
No, I'm very sorry. Go ahead.
Right on, you have the floor. You have the floor. You have
If Chiroma were here, we have five. No, you.
Mowaters director.
I cannot talk to Chiroma.
Dr. Mowaters, I gave you the floor and you spoke
Thank you,
peacefully. Let him speak. Right on, Barrister.
The Barrister cannot talk. Give me now. I want to talk.
Right on, Barrister. You have the floor.
Yes. Before I was interrupted the way I was telling Cameroonians that for elections,
Issa Chiroma, is he your favorite?
I have no favorite. I have no favorite, but I cast my ballot. And one of the things that I can appreciate for these elections is that they had indelible ink. You can see that it is still on my finger.
You voted.
That's it.
You
for who? I did.
Performed your
I voted. You
right.
cannot ask me who I voted
right
for.
On, Barrister, you have the floor.
For elections to be transparent, I keep saying certain factors. The institutions must not be biased. We are talking about ELECAM and the Constitutional Council, the commissions. And I hear some people say, since Issa Chiroma's representatives were not in all the polling stations, he has no right to complain. To me, that kind of reasoning is
Barrister Evaristus, when you look at the situation during of course at the election day, you come to realize that some of these Cameroonians are of course angry or disgruntled because of the fact that some of them got their information on Facebook, which of course is not a reliable source of information. Now tell us, when you look at it from what is ongoing, there are people who are out there saying that they are manifesting or they are declaring their intention towards violent attitude thanks to the fact that their candidate has won the election. Given given the fact that all of us are aware that in a few days we are talking about, we have a deadline, which of course is the 27th of this month for the elections result to be proclaimed. But why is it that these Cameroonians can't be patient enough to wait for these results to come out before they can air out whatsoever thing they want to air out?
Provocation can cause people to react. Someone who is very angry can react, and
do you think an election that of course was a platform, or is a platform for Cameroonians to give their own opinion through a universal suffrage, now has been transformed to a provocative platform? Is it okay by you?
It cannot. If you listen to me very well, I gave you the factors that that can encourage people to believe, that can deliver trust for our institutions. People go around saying Issa Chiroma didn't have representatives and so on. And so what is the role of Elecam? What is the role of Elecam? Please.
Elecam does not represent political parties.
I'm talking about
individual political parties should have themselves represented on every
Elecam is an independent and partial body,
but no representative of political parties. Chiroma cannot leave government 3 months and be represented everywhere in Cameroon more than PC Are Okanto can prepare election 10 years back. Who was Chiroma since when? Some section of CPD win election from CPD.
Of course, more tasks. Let's before we continue, let's take some of the.
Is someone proud of the CPD?
Let's take some of the.
How can I deny
properly? Please respect this very podium. Let's take some of the messages from Cameroonians who say we have one of a televiewer who says good evening CLTV till that man. Now, please, when you're sending your messages, be very short and brief. Make it understandable and readable, please, because Cameroonians are watching and those out of the borders are also watching. Good evening, dear panelists. I am disgusted to hear an intellectual talk about the sheep of the north, referring to his Cameroonian brother in the north. This behavior seems deplorable to me. It is important to hold speeches of unity and peace in order to strengthen social cohesion in Cameroon. Signed Njakwa Frederick from Kusiri. Okay. That's somebody from Kusiri talking to us this evening. Of course, I will proceed with the messages that are coming. There are a lot of them coming in. There is someone. Please tell that no, we don't. Please, we don't receive insult. Just go
if you have to do me challenge
directly to the point. Send your messages. Be respectful, and of course, we will read your messages, and everybody, of course, will.
Can't describe nothing.
Doctor, we'll come back to you. Yeah, you have something to say.
Yes, please. So I'm a proponent of against hate speech. So you see, I'm an economic artist, and we have to be very, very careful. I trust my brother, respect my brother, Doctor, so much, and I know how passionate he is. But you know, passion has taken many people to grave. And I will beg that, you know, we have kids, we have parents, we have people that are looking for your... I know you have great advice to give them, and we are educating Cameroonians. I think we should... there are certain derogative words that we used that might get out of context. In your context, you might be right, but people listening out there might not understand. You might be paraphrasing, repeating things people say, but people might be getting it for the first time. And hate speech, derogative word, all of these things, every time you repeat it, it's just like putting oil in the lamp or putting kerosene in the fire. So let's try to get back to this wonderful topic, which is peace or provocation. So what I want to say is, are we saying elections are for peace or provocation, or are we taking side? We are provoking, or are we preaching peace? Because we need to understand.
Of course, you and I, of course, I know that President Pobia, Dr. Mowotas, I'll be coming back to you. Please just respect the other panelists on set. They are, of course, doctors. So now you come to discover that for the past years, President Pobia has been preaching peace, and some of these individuals who are now preaching the contrary, some of them are manifesting the contrary, was once a collaborator of the head of state, President Paul Biya. And today we are finding ourselves in a situation just few months to the presidential elections. They now come up with manifestos that are very enticing to the ears of Cameroonians, not leaving the fact that being the president or accepting or hosting the power as a president in this country, it is not something that you just need to get on one morning because of the fact that you speak so very well and you can have it. Now, put this back to you, Dr. Tumenta. Do you appreciate the atmosphere? Do you appreciate the outings of Chiroma Bakari?
So put those your questions into two parts. First of all, I appreciate the fact that President Paul Biya in history will go to many as a peace builder. And someone who brought literal democracy and practical democracy. That's what some of us as researchers will be judging. And again, in his communal liberalism, he wanted people to be engaged. So I'm not sure that President Paul Biya will reject the fact that somebody who was an ally to him became a presidential candidate. I'm not sure if you get President Paul Biya, he appreciates the fact. Because that shows the maturity for him. It shows the maturity of his of the institutional platform he created and democratic and freedom of expression and let's say the expressions of the constitutional rights of every Cameroonian. I'm not sure that anywhere in the constitution or in the electoral code it says that if I was your ally, I cannot tomorrow become a candidate for position. So we should let's just be clear with that. But so what I want to say, which we have to understand, is that no one, I have not seen anyone that is out there saying people should go out and manifest and attack people. But I know that people are out there saying, and individuals who voted are saying, we hope that what we express will be reflected in the result. But of course, we have, Cameroon is sometimes called the continent. So there are a lot of manifestation and deceit and so on. The one thing I want us to say,
don't you think Kabali could not be qualified to say win election? Philip,
my brother, so look, this is what I want us to stay on context because Cameroonians are listening.
Yes.
And we people just should they take it as a peaceful thing or as a provocation? But I want to build on a fundamental. Please let us understand.
Do you think, Dr. Tumenta, do you think the outings that is, of course, going out right now, is it leading us towards a peaceful environment?
Yeah. So look, all what we could tell political actors at this stage is that please, everything you say matters. Appease your followers, your electorate, appease them. Let us wait for the result. And for now, so sometimes, which is fine. I like the atmosphere of Cameroon now. Let me explain why. Before the proclamation, Cameroonians as well as the political parties are supposed to go to the constitutional councils with claim, right? So people are just expressing their claim to their political parties, and they have to transfer this to the to the constitutional council. And that is why I was very interested when Bless said, please just hold on. We went to election, Kabila went for election, he's now receiving feedback from his party, and he is the only one that has to take this thing to the Constitutional Council. If by the day it is declared, the election results are declared, if he didn't deem it necessary to take it, then it's not a problem. Those who believe that as a citizens that they need to channel their complaints to someone, they should do it. And I hope that the election Cameroon and the statutes of election Cameroon gives Cameroonians the opportunity individually to also go to the Constitutional Council and declare. So we need to figure out how do we create please, Philip, and that's why it's very important. Good. If we are now saying that many political parties, Cameroonians are saying, I don't even want to go towards the political party to give my contestation to the Constitutional Council. I should be given the right to use the right channel, not the street, but I can write and make a petition and goes to the Constitutional Council before the elections are declared. So I think as we debate, we should be looking for policy framework, the recommendations that we can create a framework where people believe in and trust the system.
Thank you very much, and trust the system. I'll come back to you. We are getting towards the end of this first phase of the program, which of course is the elections, of course, that is ongoing today in Cameroon. We're talking about the presidential election. Is it the platform for peace or provocation? You got, of course, some of the presentations or contributions from the various panelists. Of course, we are closing this particular topic. Let, of course, get your last word, Barrister Evaristus Mofo. If, of course, we are promoting peace in Cameroon, without peace, it is going to be very impossible for you to sit here and communicate with Cameroonians. Now, the elections, of course, we are expecting the results in the days ahead. Do you think Cameroonians need to stay calm or needs to continue agitating?
Cameroonians are not agitating. Not all Cameroonians are agitating. All of us need peace. But peace without justice is not peace. And the absence of war doesn't mean people are peaceful. Okay. You can be frightened, you can be intimidated, and you remain mute. People may translate that to mean peace, whereas it is not peace. Something is boiling elsewhere.
So what's your last word?
My last word is elections ought to be a platform for peace, but all depends on how those elections are organized.
That's your position now. Come back to you, Dr. More Waters.
Yes.
Of course, we are getting to the end of this, and your last word.
I want to tell Barrister Mofo that your status as a lawyer should not make you panic, Barrister. People look at you. Me, I'm your student. Listen, help me follow you. Don't be afraid to say it here that Barrister. Let me help you now. Why you have not told me, let me tell you. Some of us are people who have died already. We are not afraid of death again. How can you be mincing words? I see him struggling to say why he knew in his heart. Let me say it for him. This me? Let me say it for him.
Dr. Mawata,
you cannot give me words.
Okay, let me hear myself.
I'm not chicken happy.
Let me hear myself now. Let me hear myself. What are you telling me? I knew him. He's a very intelligent man, but he's pretending to be dull on that microphone. How can you say that?
Dr. Mawotas, you are now here. That's his opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You have your own opinion, and Cameroonians are expecting to get from you. It is.
I'm telling the Cameroonians,
Mawotas,
and myself,
we are a few days to the proclamation of the results of the presidential elections, October 12th.
Yes.
Now, do you think peace should reign, or do you think people should continue, or they should continue insulting each other to create chaos?
I'm a follower of an advocate of peace, Paul Biya. The motto of my country is peace, work for the land. I teach peace.
Can peace come through intimidation?
By who? For what? And when? Yes. If I have no right as a constitutionalist to read this constitution here, and have no right to walk out because of peace is useless. Therefore, freedom of expression of Cameroonians, when they are tied down that the head of state gave us, should be manifested. But those who are on street, my problem with them is that they are following a false prophet to heaven who does not know road to heaven. Discipleship matters. There can be no peace without respect of rule of law.
That's your point of view. Of course, Dr. Mawotas, will come to you, Blaise Kwajika from the PCRN party. Your last word before the end of this program, the end of this particular first phase of the program.
Yeah, there can never be peace if there is no respect of rule of law, as the doctor rightly said.
You are buying the opinions of Dr. Mawotas.
Exactly, of which we are calling the leaders, who are responsible to be at like the guidance of the institutions. because when we are going in for this election,
You have some few seconds.
No.
Bless Kwajika.
I'm being cheated, and you know that.
No, you're not cheated.
I'm
Just
cheated,
ride on,
and
ride on, ride on,
yes,
ride on, Bless Kwajika. You have the floor.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
If the rule of law,
Dr. Moore has taken the lion's share.
I'm sorry.
You have the floor, and the time is running out.
yeah, the time is running out.
Barrister, I'm not
But
to engage.
you know very
You
well
need to
that
say
you
something.
cheated me. Just to say this. No, if you want to take the floor, you can take it.
No,
But
no,
I just want to make you understand this. Let there be equity. Let everybody, when you give the floor to everybody, it's the same like the government that we are crying here, where people have more shares than others, and you see people frustrated.
That's right.
We want a society where there is equity, where people find themselves belonging. And the presidential elections, when you see people frustrated, people on the street shouting, because they are still imagining if they will still go through 7 years with what they have been, the hell, that is the hardship that they have been going through. So I would just ask your televiewers, that Cameroonians, that we have to be resilient. Only a word of resilient, because we just have to cross our fingers and expect what the institutions are saying.
That's right.
Thank you
And
very
it is
much.
after what the institutions have pronounced on the results, then the sovereign people now, if there is any cheating everywhere, or I don't know, but because not
Cameroonians do have confidence in the institutions.
yes,
That's
they
right.
have confidence, but it may happen that confidence may be breached.
That's right.
And
You believe in the institutions?
and
I like believe.
no,
Yeah,
And-
correct.
Thank you very much, Bless Kwajika.
and really, we have to call on our leaders, on those who are responsible to declare those results, that the future of this country belongs to them. They are the ones to determine
Thank you.
how the future of Cameroon will
Thank you very much, Bless Kwajika.
because people are really expecting a lot from them. Let there be transparency. Transparency. Let them proclaim what the people, the sovereign people, for that matter, the sovereign people have decided. Because that's the only way that we can have tranquility, or we can have peace. We can have harmony, still live in harmony or whatsoever, or maybe have hopes for the upcoming days.
Thank you very much, Bless Kwajika, for such a declaration. Now, we'll come back to your last words, Dr. Tumeta.
Yes, what is clear with this first part is that peace is so important. There is no alternative for peace after post-election peace, because anything else is economic stagnation, is higher poverty rate, as well as fewer jobs that are going to be there. But provocation, any political actor that engages in provocation is actually creating an environment where jobs and economic development actually goes out. So, I think that it is a call for all of us, not just calling names for the political parties, all Cameroonians to calm down and to use appropriate measures to be able to express their feelings. But at the end of the day, let's hope that on the declaration day, as Bless rightly said, we get the right results and what Cameroonians expect, and which and that will increase the trust of all the institutions that are there. And I believe that all the political actors, including the head of state, really expects that those institutions actually reflects the will of the people.
Thank you very much. Of course, the institutions actually reflect the will of the people. That's why Cameroonians do depend on these institutions. Thank you very much. This has been the first part of the program. We'll take a little break and we'll be back for the second part of this program. back. You're just joining us. This is, of course, Info Television, and this is your program, Game of Thrones, here in the Yaoundé. Of course, we'll dive directly to what we have for you as menu. This is a very evening, which, of course, is the second topic. It is very obvious that the government of Cameroon is considered, or is well known, based on statistics, that it is the first of course, employer in the country. And this has been a call for concern, as Cameroonians are asking, is the government the lone source of employment? Of course, we have panelists. We have an economist. Of course, I'll begin with you, Dr. Tumenta. It is a call for concern today in Cameroon, and you are an economist, well-vested with issues like this, and you are not somebody that's limited within the borders of Cameroon, because you've had a series of travels out of Cameroon. Is the government the sole source of employment in this country?
So I believe, as an economist, that is totally wrong. As one of our greatest economists, Milton Friedman, once said, the social responsibility of governments is not to engage himself into business. You understand? It's not to get into business, and the responsibilities of businesses is to do business. What does that mean? Cameroon itself today, we all agree, if we look at what the government is doing, it's the highest employer. But in the last few years, you have seen that they are shrinking. They are doing everything to reduce, to become the highest employer. But if you look at the 3-point-something% of unemployment, it's just hidden. Because 90% of our economic activities takes place where? In the informal sector. The government has put in a lot of institutions, creating the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, the Center for the Formalizations of Enterprises, to be able to make sure that we should reduce this informal sector where we can create jobs. If you look at 98% of the enterprises in Cameroon are small, medium-sized enterprises. I mean 98%. And in this 98%, according to the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, approximately 90% are very small enterprises. So it means that Cameroonians have entrepreneurial spirit. Cameroonians has all the opportunity to create jobs, but the spaces for that jobs to be taken over by the private sector, we are still looking for the best formula. And in the last few years, the government has struggled to make sure that we stop some of the wastage that we have. For example, the import substitution strategy, which says that the things that we can produce, as has been proven by the chicken value chain, has been proven that if you stop the importations of certain chickens and we produce it here, we create more jobs. That is why with the import substitution strategy, the government is also struggling. This is so important, as we discussed. The government itself should do everything to reduce its position as creating the job and to be the master of the rules of the game, and as well as the level playing field. That's what Cameroonians expect.
Does employment depends only on the government?
That's why I said no. It's totally no. The government shouldn't be.
What
yes and no. Let me say. It depends on the government. Because the social responsibility of a government is to create the level playing field, create the road, provide education so that we can have cheap labor, health facilities, and decentralizations of resources, creating opportunities. And for me, I developed what is called the graduation model, to make sure that I shouldn't leave my village and go to universities in town and do not go back to my village to create special economic zones. We need to make sure that if I study, I should go anywhere where there are opportunities and make sure that I can create those jobs. So the question, should government even be actively involved in opening companies, creating jobs? No, because when you do that, in a society where people are not saints or moral, that they don't live on moral ideal, corruption comes in, nepotism comes in, clientelism comes in. But if you allow the private sector that comes in, efficiency comes in.
Now you talked of course, creating better platforms like roads, or creating other issues. Now you come to discover that there are some Cameroonians who, of course, do have petty businesses or businesses in the country, but they are shy. They do shy away from taxes. Now, where do you think?
So that is interesting, because chicken or egg. There are many economists who believe that the greatest things to do is to collect taxes from the government should collect tax from a dying economy to build the roads and create other issues. But some economists believe that taxes are the worst invention, especially where you have people that are not saints. When they collect the money, they don't use it very well. But in an economy where taxes are collected, well accountable for, everybody must pay it. And that is the social contract. So what we are expecting, and I think that the government, the Ministry of Finance in the last years has been struggling to figure out, should we tax them so much? We are killing a dying economy. Somebody who starts is still struggling in his early phase. You bring him much taxes on him, you're killing his creativity. So what do we need to do? Of course, we need to get program, what is called the playful capital. I give you the money, just play with it. Come out with the idea, and we now identify the champions. And then we get the mechanism around it. China's mechanism today, a miracle today, is because they were able to identify what is called the rural champions, brought them to the national champions, and then they are able to become the continental and global champions. So what we are saying is that the taxation debate is nothing. If you earn, you give the government provides you education and other things. When the government does it very well and is accountable, you go back, you give back. So it's a give and take. It's not like the government is bad and the people are good, or the good people are good or the people are bad. The issue is that our economy is in a transition process from an export raw material dependent economy where I am not supposed to hold the government accountable because I give him nothing, to where the government is saying, hey, look, with COVID-19, with the disruptions in the supply chains, and finally with the crisis around the world, if we depend on others, then we will not survive. And that's why now the new social contract is coming in. The government expects you, if you earn money, pay your fair share, and the people expect the government, if you collect the money, create the spaces around us. And with the decentralization and accountability process, we will see an economy where people pay the taxes and they ask government to be accountable for it. And those who do not pay are punished. If you spoke about just a second.
Dr. Tumenta, I'll come back to you. I know you have a lot to say because it's your domain. You are an economist, but the question.
I can't talk, Doctor. I cannot talk.
Dr. Mowaters, I'm coming to you. Of course, you have the floor in a few minutes.
Yes.
It's very obvious that in Cameroon, we have the government that's providing a lot of jobs in the country, and we have small and medium-sized enterprises. We have startup businesses that are, of course, are going bad. It's like at the end of the day, there are certain people who are shy, given the fact that within 72 hours in Cameroon, you can create an enterprise in the country. What's actually hindering some of the Cameroonians who are not diving directly into businesses, given the fact that the government cannot employ everyone?
Let me take 1 second to show you my personal experience. Before getting access to government, you know me, I was selling papers, notes on campus without tax. At the entrance of NAM, prepare documents, answer questions about poverty of the question you're asking me now.
And you had tutorial
handwritten, classes, right with my hand the whole night. Let me finish.
Without pay any tax to the government.
Without pay tax. Copy it with good handwriting the whole night on sheets of papers. Go to Buenamusa to beat somebody. Then you call a boy. He will make photocopies. I stand in front of gate. Now, sell to candidates entering to deposit their file to write now. They buy. At the end of the day, I rush back to Bonas. Maybe I sell 15,000 francs. I made photocopy for 10,000. I rush back, pay back 10,000 francs, and then I remove 4,000. I put in my pocket. I take 1,000. I take one man. I go back, and I start continuing it to the end of the day. And in the midst of that, provocation, mockery, rejection. Those I taught in Zwa, translated notes for them. Because I had nobody to send me inside there. They looked at education like a failure.
So you're telling us...
You send me to be selling notes at the gate of a NAM.
Dr.
When those I teach can enter inside there.
You're telling
that cannot say, who killed my ancestors?
Dr. Mowaters,
who killed my forefathers?
You're telling Cameroonians that while you were still struggling in your prime days,
no, seeing my advantage.
They were rejecting you and they were not...
No, they accepted me. I'm coming to my testimony.
They were not accepting the fact that you were making efforts to become a man.
I'm coming back. When I succeeded, I went back there. Let me show you. I went to one prophet in Nigeria. He told me, go back. and use the money you want to bless me to bless people I see you around the gate. I discovered myself at the NAM gate. I went away by then. I took a loan from bar, I bought a car. I went and parked my car. I used administrative office photocopy machine this time around, no bonus. Printed those same notes. I'm talking about 2011. Gather it. Instead of selling a copy for 500 to gain 300, I could give her now for 200 because I now know I'm using state machine, state photocopy, and I wear suit. That value now. It could change from 7,500 to 15,000. From that gate, let me show you, as I was sharing, people were attracted to it. And that made me to discover that the person that you follow determine what will follow you. Before, nobody gave me incentive.
So you're telling us that having personal initiative and directing your attention
and nobody to finance your activity can make you affected by those who need to survive.
Let's talk.
I want to construct it back.
More waters.
Yes.
You need to understand.
No, myself.
The question that I ask. The questions are very clear.
Yes.
Now, you were in the university. At the university, it is very obvious that you had a lot of time to hustle and tussle.
I'm talking when marriage entered. That's what I now.
More waters. We are not.
When you have a child.
We are not quarreling.
Okay.
We need to edify.
Because you know my story now. I tell my story to the world.
More waters. We are not quarreling.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know your story.
You
Cameroonians need to know your story.
If you know me in public.
Not now.
Okay.
I don't know your story. Not now.
Right.
Cameroonians need to know, but not during this platform, because we are educating Cameroonians that are unfolding in the country. Now, the question is very clear.
Yes.
The government, of course, is being considered as the highest employer in Cameroon.
Which they cannot do that successfully.
It is very obvious. Yes. Nobody can maybe.
I want you to corroborate what Dr. Tuminta said.
You just stay calm. Okay. Let's, of course, do this thing virtually. No, you don't need to go out.
Thank you.
It is very obvious that in Cameroon, the government, of course, is being considered as the highest employer in the country. Do you think, of course, this is supposed to be something worthy of appreciation, given the fact that Cameroon is aspiring to have an emergence come 2035?
Yes, politically. When you render people hungry and they depend on you for food, homeless, hopeless, nowhere to go, they will come after you.
Is that
economically unacceptable?
Is that a source of employment?
No. I'm telling you that politically, no government get to power without passing through politics. As a politician, Cameroonian government and those intellectuals who taught you and I introduction to law economics are not dull. What they are doing, they know it. That when they destroy all our private sector and government depend the only source for you to be able to earn 250,000 francs to see all Cameroon or Pobia, before they can give you access to a job, they will continue winning election. I'm talking about my party. Can I talk? This is the only time coming here.
We'll come back to you.
Okay, you're escaping.
No, we'll come back to you in a few seconds. I'll come back.
So
to you.
government is doing willfully.
Barrister Evaristus Mofo, of course, these are very special issues, and it is very obvious that in Cameroon today, Cameroonians are out there. They need job. They need to be educated in this particular domain. Do you think the government is the sole source of employment, given the fact that people are opting to gain white-collar jobs in public services today? People want to drive in good cars, but forgetting the fact that business pays a lot.
That's right.
Amongst the human rights that exist, there is the right to work. And all the human rights must be protected by a state. And therefore, the state must provide its citizens with jobs. It doesn't mean it is the sole employer. The government should facilitate the creation of jobs.
But today in Cameroon, we have universities, of course, that do offer entrepreneur lectures, teach young people on how to go out there and fetch for themselves. Don't you think there is something that is not right with these people after gaining notion or idea or knowledge in entrepreneurship?
To me, it is correct what government is doing. it is a welcome initiative.
Then what is wrong with those who, after years sitting on the bench, acquire knowledge in entrepreneurship, but can't use them at the end of the day?
I don't think it is in entrepreneurship. Those who have PhDs, I don't want to call certain sections.
No, I wouldn't. You is in the village to go and teach what?
Where?
Like doctorate in modern letter in PhD in history in my village. No, you to Cameroon. And then your father is killing CPDN because they are not giving him job because of PhD. Why do you study in University of Yaoundé one that cannot resolve family conflict?
More what as Barrister Evaristo.
The private sector offers jobs to Cameroonians. The public sector as well. Non-profit making organizations, charities, they provide jobs, and it should not only be jobs but decent jobs.
But today,
and those who are employed in the public sector,
yes,
there must not be discrimination.
But today,
people should be promoted on the basis of seniority and competence.
Barrister, today you are a barrister at law in Cameroon. You had to pursue your education elsewhere. You were not forced to do so. Don't you think if some other Cameroonians can emulate what you did, the situations that we have today in Cameroon, the government won't be the sole source of employment?
Are you
employed by the government today?
I am not employed by the government. I'm self-employed. I have people working in my office. I pay them, so I'm an employer.
Employer, very good. So I'm looking for success story.
I am. Many will not undergo the suffering I stomached. Let me tell you, when I graduated from the University of Yaoundé, SWA was up and were transferred there when I had to do the postgraduate. I trekked from Yaoundé to SWA and back, but that didn't deter me from continuing with education. Thereafter, Catholic University, I paid so much, and a PhD. So, when there are those possibilities, what I can say is that our younger ones should learn to be self-employed. Only lazy ones should go to public service.
Now, when you talk about
public service, let me tell you, there are certain
you talk about there are Cameroonians, of course, who are very hardworking, but the opportunities are limited. What's the problem?
Somebody who has earned a certificate. What can you do? It's not. We rely so much on certificates in Cameroon, whereas it ought not to be. We should rely on what somebody can do. What can you offer? What is your output?
Thank you, Barrister. Of course, I'll come to you, Bless Kwajika. You have something to say.
Teaching photocopy. Don't know what who recommended me.
I may not be skilled like doctor. No. A doctor who is well knowledgeable in the domain, economic. But I will
today you are employed in Cameroon?
Yeah, I'm employed. I'm self-employed.
Self-employed. Very good.
Self-employed.
Story. Success story.
But we have to get to the reality in Cameroon because, as Cameroonians, as Dr. Riley said, the informal sector that is being animated and when we talk of the informal sector, it means the government, it means there are people who doesn't pay tax.
Do you think there's a hindrance with those who are opting to become an entrepreneur in Cameroon?
Of course.
What is it?
Of course. First of all, I will first of all start by laying complaint on the educational system.
Okay.
That have made people to understand that the only way to have the source of income is through maybe bureaucracy or whatsoever. That is, they don't train entrepreneurship. That is, entrepreneurship are not encouraged. Like us in PCRN, where we are proposing that at a certain age, that is, a child has to be educated. That is, at the age of 11 years. As the age of when you are finished, when you are done with the secondary, you have 3 options: apprenticeship, technical, or you choose the general education. Apprenticeship, when we talk of apprenticeship, it means a child can decide, maybe not the child.
We impose on the child,
you just have some few seconds, please. Very soon we are terminating
under the guardianship of the state.
Okay.
Under the guardianship of the state, a student can decide and get maybe an internship.
That's a program from the PCRN.
A PCRN.
Yeah.
That is, you can.
In case you are sent to power.
Exactly. That is, you go and acquire skills.
I talk about
maybe in a company.
I talk about 2022.
Bless Magica, I'll come back to you just a few seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Permit me to learn.
Yeah, just a few seconds. You have
just giving you.
You have
that is what is hindering
about
some
we are getting
people
close to the
not
program, please.
Maybe not to have jobs. Maybe it's also due to the educational system that we have that needs to be reformed.
Thank you.
That is, we need to try. We need to look for a milieu where people can be trained to be self-employed, and that's the method that PCRN is proposing. That is through the apprenticeship after your secondary school.
Thank you.
The government, under the guardianship of the state, you can have access maybe in a company, acquire skills, and see how you can develop your own business.
Thank you very much.
And then also technical, that is the engineering part or whatsoever, because you can't develop a nation without engineers. You need engineers in order to build a country. When you see maybe towns or maybe cities like Dubai, or maybe America, when you see America is so beautiful and you see, like,
of course,
because of the engineering.
Thank you.
That is that engineering part of the state. That is, so we need to reconcile the state and the private sector.
Thank you very much. So we need to reconcile both the private sector and the state of Cameroon. We are coming, of course, to the end of this program, but before we draw the curtains, I would like to have enticing and some encouraging words from our economists on set, which of course are Dr. Tumenta. Now tell us, what do you expect Cameroonians to do in order to come away or get out of unemployment, those who are still going in or those who are job seekers?
If you call Cameroonians, I hope that the future president should be able to create an environment where meritocracy functions. Getting the story from Doctor, you see how he struggled, almost gave up. And that's how many Cameroonians. You cannot teach entrepreneurship in school. We should stop that. Entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurial spirit is found in every Cameroonian. All you can do is creating the right conditions for it to come out.
So who do you think should create, the government or Cameroonians, of course, who after acquiring the knowledge,
so let's put it,
the government it on the field?
So it's not about, so this is where we put it.
After your studies, if you can't implement what you study,
so exactly, so there is a problem. There's a part about sustainability. I'm talking about sustainability. We shouldn't confront PhDs and PhDs. We have a lot of PhDs everywhere, you know, doctoral and PhD on research and so on. The paradigm shift is getting on PhD, and moving from PhD, we need role model and not role model. Someone who can hold your hands, take you to the next step, and take you to the next step. We are missing one of the fundamental advantage that a country can have. We are building our countries with infrastructure coming up, but we do not have the young people that left the school that are working in those factories to gain skills. So what we are asking are 3 things. 1, make sure we create special economic zones in the villages where people can go there. They shouldn't buy all the equipment. They are there. They have their ideas. They go there. They produce. They sell. Right. 2, make sure we get what is called a playful capital. Give them the money. If they fail, give them again. And then pick the best to create what is called a national champion. We have 12 to 13 times in our national strategy 2020 to 2030, the word national champions. So we need to pick these people at every level because the African Continental Free Trade is working. So what we expect from the government is that they should make sure we identify this national champion, just like what happened in Nigeria with Dangote and the rest. And then we need to make sure that we give them the money, bring the skills, and open the road for the diasporas to come in and make sure we can develop. So I believe that job creation Cameroonians have the spirit, which is the most difficult part, but now we need to create the enabling environment so that they can unleash their innovative potentials.
Thank you, Dr. Tumenta, an economist. That's, of course, a very deep insight. Your last word, Dr. Mo Waters, we just have some few seconds because we're already away from time.
I want to tell viewers that from my constitution here, Article 48 says the Constitutional Council shall ensure regularity of presidential election and have power to proclaim it thereof.
We are talking about.
We started from this. Say my last word.
We left that particular topic. Presidential elections. Is it a platform for peace or provocation? We already left that particular area. So you have some few seconds. You're talking about finding the solutions to employment in Cameroon. The fact that the government is the sole source of employment. What do you think can be done so that this cannot be a reality anymore in Cameroon?
Keep people like Issa Cheroma who abandoned Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training, abandon it, resign and want to become head of state. That's a nincompoop from your administration.
Doctor, of course, that's your own opinion, and you take a full responsibility.
I'm responsible for
whatsoever thing that you.
I took a give me a report.
More for Evaristus.
There's a person when he resigned
we have a country that, of course, we have a country that, of course, needs entrepreneurs, needs people who do have mindset of developing this country. What do you think, of course, can be the final solutions in order for the government or for Cameroonians not to be relying on the government for employment?
To become head of state, to do what?
Government should create enabling and sustainable avenues for the young Cameroonians.
Do Cameroonians have a role to play too?
Of course, they do. Government should not stifle initiatives. Cameroonians should be proactive. They should be patient and resilient. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear panelists. Thank you, Barrister Amofo Evaristus, for your presence here on set. It wasn't easy, but I want to believe that you're praising God because we've come to the end of this particular program.
Thank you. I'm very accommodative.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Waters, for your presence. Thank you very much. Cameroonians are expecting to see you maybe some other time on this very prestigious set. Thank you very much, Dr. Tumenta, for your presence. It has been a wonderful deliberation on this issue, most especially on the economy issue. Thank you, Blaise Kwajika, for your presence, the communicator from the PCRN party.
Unfortunately, I will see the cry.
No, it's just that it is a matter of time, but we will send your plea to the authorities that be, so that of course they can maybe prolong the program, the time of the program. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, televiewers. It has been a wonderful day. This has been your program, Game of Thrones. So we want to call on you to stay calm. We are in a moment that is a bit difficult for Cameroonians. But of course, with your presence, with your time and patience, everything that is ongoing right now will go through. Thank you very much. Keep watching programs on FO TV. See you when it is another time. Good night.